Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends. So, first of all, welcome back to our session. It's day three of our sessions on Python for AI, right? Yes. So, we'll quickly recap what we have covered in the previous session. Then we'll set the agenda for today's session. Then we'll start the class. Right. So, in the previous sessions, we have understood the concepts of, we have understood what is Python. Then we have understood the history of Python, followed by the features. And then we have also understood the installation of Anaconda Navigator. We have discussed the different IDEs, whatever the different IDEs that are present in Anaconda Navigator was also being discussed. And in the previous session, we understood the fundamentals of Python, right? So we have understood what is variable, then what are the ground rules that one has to learn to define a variable, and then we also have completed hands-on, right? Yes. Later, after clearing up, completing the concept of variables, we started data types. Yes. So as we have promised, we have also shared offer letters. Soon, by tomorrow, we are going to share offer letters for 5 students. Okay, whoever have given the right answers. Initially, we are going to share the offer letters by tomorrow itself. Okay. So as part of data types, in Python, there are in total 6 different types of data types. There are 6 categories. What are the 6 categories, friends? We have fundamental, then sequence, list, then set, dict, and none type. We understood the purpose of data types, and these 6 category data types, in total, we have 14 different data types in Python. Okay. So as part of data types, we started with fundamental data types concept. So under fundamental data types, we have 4 data types. What are they? Int, float, bool, and complex. Yes. So these are the fundamental data types that we have. And the purpose of fundamental data types is to store a single value. Only one value can be stored using fundamental data types. So that means you cannot store multiple values using int, float, bool, and complex. Right. So again, under fundamental category data types, we started with int category data types. Int data type is what we have started. Yes. So let us go back, and this is what we have discussed as part of the previous session, and we'll continue from wherever we have stopped. Right. So I'll go back. Understood variables, identifiers, these are the rules. If you are supposed to define a variable, you are supposed to follow all these 6 ground rules. A variable is a combination of alphabets, either lowercase or uppercase. Again, you can have a combination of digits, and only one special symbol that is used is underscore. Apart from underscore, you cannot use any other special symbol. No other special symbols are allowed. Right. Then, can we start a variable with a number, with a digit? No, not accepted. Okay. If you try to define a variable with a digit or with a number, you are violating the rule and you'll get a syntax error. Right? Yes. And I assume that all of you have completed the task that was given yesterday. Right? So in yesterday's session, at the last, I have given a task. What is the task, friends? The task is, defining 3 to 5 examples for each and every ground rule. I hope this is done. And friends, if you haven't completed it, ensure that you complete at least by today. Okay, because at the end of this particular session, I'll be coming up with one more task. Okay, so let us not keep the things piling up. Okay, on daily basis, we'll complete up all the tasks. That is what we have promised on day one. Okay, in order to be an at least an intermediate, if you want to grab with respect to Python, it's not just listening to these lectures. Parallelly, you are supposed to do hands-on. Hands-on is mandatory. Okay, ensure that you complete the task that we are giving on daily basis. Okay, if not, it will be like a movie. Okay, don't assume this is a movie, friends. This is not at all a movie. Take it serious and ensure that the task gets completed on daily basis. Right. So we have understood the concept of variables. Fine. Next to variables, we also understood comments. What are the different types of comments we have in Python? There are 2 types of comments in Python. Okay. Before we understood the comments of the types in comments, we understood the purpose of commenting. The purpose of commenting is, it helps us to increase the readability of our code. Right? So whenever you share your code across your colleagues, okay, if not with your friends, for easy understanding, if we have commenting for whatever the script that we come up with, it will be easy for our friends or colleagues, whomever it might be, to understand. Not only for that purpose, even what if we revisit our code after some time. So this comments is going to help us, friends. Right? So under Python, with respect to comments, we have 2 types. One is single line commenting and the other one is multi-line commenting. So single line commenting is done using hash symbol and multi-line commenting is done using triple single or triple double quotations. Okay, so you can comment multiple lines in a single go. I hope it's clear. Right. Then next to commenting, we started data types. So as part of data types, we understood the purpose of data types in Python. So whatever might be our value, whatever might be our data, for this data, sufficient amount of memory has to be allocated in the memory space, right? So this will be done by data type. Okay, in Python, there are in total 14 data types and these 14 data types are classified into 6 categories. What are the 6? Fundamental, sequence, list, set, dict, and none type. Okay, so out of the 6, we started discussing about fundamental category data types in which we have int, float, bool, and complex. What is the purpose of using fundamental category data types? What is the purpose of using fundamental category data types? Yes, I want everyone to answer, friends. Don't sit idle. No. What is the purpose of using a fundamental category data type? It might be an int, float, bool, and complex, whatever it might be. It helps us to store single values. We can store a single value using fundamental category data types. See, if I want to store a name, okay, the name is next era uni tech. So this is the name of our organization, right? And if I want to store this name, this is a single name, right? In order to store this name, I need a fundamental category data type only. So that is the purpose of fundamental category data type. Not only a, text data. See, what if you want to store, say, a number? Assume I have phone number. So if I want to store a number, again, I am supposed to use a fundamental category data type. Making sense? Yes. So under fundamental category data types, there are four data types. It is int, float, bool, and complex. Let us understand one by one. Anyhow, we have got a good understanding with respect to int data type. In the previous session, we have understood the concept of int data type. Int is a predefined class. Int is one of the predefined class, which is treated as a fundamental data type. And the purpose of int data type is to store the data without decimal values. So if I want to store numbers, okay, the number might be a whole number, an integer, whatever it might be, friends. Okay, so that number should not have decimal values. If it does not have decimal values, so I can use int data type to store these values. -10, -999. All of these are examples for int data type. Then we also went to Spider. We have understood a few examples, and followed by we have understood the four number systems. What are the four number systems that we have? We have decimal number system, binary number system, octal, and hexadecimal number system. And int data type, it also helps us to store these different number system values. Even though if you have a binary number system, if you have a value of binary number, int data type helps us to store a binary number as well. Then the same for octal. If I have a hexadecimal number, I can store it using int data type. Yes, it is possible. For that reason, we have understood the concept of number systems. We'll quickly recap. So by default, humans, we are able to understand decimal number system. We will be using decimal number system, and in decimal number system, there are in total 10 digits, and the digit starts from 0 till 9. So these are the 10 digits that are part of decimal number system. Since there are 10 digits, the base of decimal number system is 10. Then next to decimal number system, we have binary number system. So binary, which means bi represents 2. Okay, so binary number system, the numbers or the digits that we have are only 0 and 1. That's it. The total number of digits that we have are 2. So that is the reason the base of binary number system is 2. In the same way, for octal number system, octa represents 8. Here are the 8 digits that are part of octal number system. Okay, so since there are 8 digits, the base for octal number system is 8. Then finally, we also discussed hexadecimal number system. Hexa means, 6. Then decimal is nothing but we have 10. Okay, 6 plus 10, in total 16 digits should be part of hexadecimal number system. But how can we have 16 numbers? How can we have 16 digits? It's not possible, right? So that is the reason we'll take all the 10 digits that we have in decimal number system, followed by, 10 is given with alphabet A, 11 is represented with alphabet B, so on. The 16th digit, which is nothing but 15, is represented by F. Since there are 16 digits, the base for hexadecimal will be 16. Why are we understanding each and every point is with respect to number system? What is the main reason for understanding number systems is soon, in a couple of minutes, we'll be understanding hands-on how int data type helps us to store different number system values. Okay, anyhow, I know int data type, the purpose of int data type is to store a number which does not have decimal values. But what if the number is a binary number? I have a number which is in the format of binary format 0, 1, 1, 0. So this is in the form of binary system, binary number system. In the same way, if I have a number which is in the form of octal number system, I have a number which is in the form of hexadecimal number system. How can I store these numbers? How can I store these values? That can be done using int. That can be done using int data type. Okay. So I have also discussed the conversions because in the backend, when we execute the code, the conversions happen. Okay. So it's better to know the conversion because we have friends coming from different domains, right? So it's always the best technique to represent the conversions. Everyone should be clear with respect to the conversions. How a decimal number is converted to a binary system number. Then how a binary number is converted to decimal number. So these, conversions you should be clear, friends. In the same way for octal number system, hexadecimal number system. In all these number systems, if you are clear on the digits and the base, you can do it on your own. This is not rocket science, right? This is not a confusion topic that we have. It's very simple. If you understand for one conversion technique properly, the same will be replicated for all the different number systems. Yes. So in the previous session, we have understood till here, till the conversions we have done. Now let us go and understand the hands-on, like how different number systems values are stored using int data type. So for that, I'll go back and use Spider. So Spider is an IDE, integrated development environment. I assume all of you have installed Spider and started doing hands-on, right? Yes. Let us start our journey, friends. Hands-on journey. So from here onwards, I want everyone to respond in the chat. No one should sit idle. No, it's not recommended. Everyone has to interact and you guys have to make the session great, right? So what are we doing in line number 272? What is happening in line number 272? Excuse me. I'm defining a variable A where I'm going to store a number 19, right? I'm going to define a variable A where I'll be storing a value 19. But before I execute this, anyhow, we have understood the concept of variables, right? So before I execute this line number 272, yesterday I have a question that it's one of the important question that is, why did I use space next to A and before 19 is the question. Let us remove the space and execute is what I had a question from one of our friend. Okay. So even though if you remove the space and if you execute line number 272, it will execute, friends. It does not throw any error. Okay. So it will execute. The variable got created and the value got stored inside the variable. Okay. And the data type is int. Int data type is used to store the value. It's 19. Then what makes the difference between giving space and not giving, the space? is, readability. How clear it is now. So if you add space, you can make your code very beautiful. Okay, so that doesn't mean, even though if you remove the space, it doesn't mean that the line will not execute. It will execute. But, when someone goes through your code, probably they may not feel that kind of, it does not feel in a different way. I hope it's making sense. So it is always recommended to keep your code with spaces, right? Yes. It is not required in general, but even though if you give space, it is very clear, right? The end users, whoever goes through your script, your Python code, they'll understand in a different way. See, I'll execute this one as well. Both are executing. Okay, that doesn't mean without space it doesn't execute and with space it only executes. No, that is just a myth. No. Okay, so it is always recommended. The best practice that we have is try using spaces. Keep your code beautiful. Then what are we trying to do? I'm going to print the value. I'm going to print A. A is a variable, an object. I'm going to print the value which is present inside A. So we know print is a function. What is a function? What is a function? Function is a block of code. Function is lines of code, right? So print is a function which helps us to print the output to our console. See. Yes. So that is the reason it is always recommended to use spaces. I hope it's making sense. Yes. Then we also discussed type function. What does type function does? Function is a block of code. Good. Keep going, keep going. What does type function does? Type function will return the data type. It returns the data type. So whatever the value that was stored in this variable, for that value, there is a type associated. Okay. So this type function will return the data type of the variable. Let me execute. It is int. Is it matching? Yes. It will match. Good, good, good. Then I'll go and change the value. I don't want to store 19. I want to store 999 in A. 999. I'll execute. You see how the value got changed in the variable A. Done. In the same way, I'm going to print A. So this has to give me the output of 999. In the console, you observe, friends. Then type of A will represent, it will return int only. It is int data type. I hope it's making sense. Yes, good. Then what does id function returns? What does id function returns? Id is a function which returns the address of the variable in the memory. So within the memory, each and every value gets stored. So there is a location, there is an address for each and every value that is being stored. So that address or the location will be returned by id function. So this is, the place, this is the location or this is the address at which our value has been stored. Yes, good. So yes, so till here we have done. Now let us understand storing a binary number system data in Python. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Okay. So how can you store a binary number system data in Python is you are supposed to keep the values with a prefix. It should be either 0 lowercase b or 0 uppercase b. So for better understanding, I have also come up with the syntaxes, friends. So your variable name followed by is equals to is an assignment operator. What is an operator? We'll discuss. No issues. Okay. Then coming to the value, our value should be whatever the binary data that we are going to store, it has to have a prefix that is either 0 lowercase b or 0 uppercase b. Only then the interpreter will understand that it is a binary data. Okay, only then the interpreter, whatever the interpreter that we have in Python, it understands that it is a binary data. So here we have an example, but the question rises, even though if you are trying to represent binary data internally, the value gets converted to decimal number system. Okay, it is nothing but int data type will be used to store binary data. That is the point that we have discussed as part of slides. Am I right? Yes. Okay, so here we have an example. What is the example? Example is 0 lowercase b 1 0 1 0. 0b is nothing but our prefix. So 1010 is nothing but our binary value. So it is obviously nothing but it's a binary value where I am going to store in a variable. So this is going to store in A. When I execute this, obviously the value gets replaced here. In the memory, what happens is the value for the A will be replaced. Probably it should be address. Yes. So let me do it. I'm executing line number 297. I want everyone to concentrate. Yes, it should start with either 0 lowercase b or 0 uppercase b. Is it done? Yes, it is done. It is done. And that's fine. Whatever you have executed, it did not throw any error. So we have stored a binary value in our memory. So it is stored in a variable A. But I see a number. It is not a binary value. It is a decimal number. So that is what we have clearly written over here. Even though if you are trying to represent binary data, okay, internally it gets converted to decimal number system. Clear? Yes. For better understanding, so folks like we have our friends who is not using Spider. Assume we don't use Spider. So how can we get the information? I'll simply try to print A and type of A. So obviously then I have to get the type. Okay. If I use Spider, I can clearly see that value that is stored is 10 and the type is int. Int is the data type that is used to store a binary value as well. Right? So let me print. Here it is. Making sense? If you did not understand, ask me, friends. This is one of the important concept. How to store different number system values in Python. It might be binary data, octal data, or hexadecimal data. Okay. So in the next example, you see, I'm trying to store a binary value, which is 1111, 4 ones. But what does the syntax say? Syntax is nothing but it's a rule. Okay. What is the syntax is? Either you use a prefix 0 lowercase b or 0 uppercase b. What am I using? 0 b in uppercase. So obviously, when I execute line number 300, the interpreter understands that it's a binary data and stores as a decimal number only. It gets converted to a decimal number and it stores in variable A. So let us do it. Don't ask me how it is getting converted. That's what I have told yesterday. In the backend, the conversions will be done. Whatever we have understood as part of yesterday, okay, that same process will be executed in the backend, friends. See, 1111 is nothing but 15. For better understanding, how did we get 1111? How this 1111 got converted to 15? The question rises. Simple. What data you are using? You are using a binary data, right? And you are going to convert into decimal number. How did we do it yesterday? That is where I have to go back, and here are the conversions. See, what is the value? The value is 1, 1, 1, 1. What is the base? It is 2. Since it is a binary number, to which format you are going to convert? I'm going to convert into a decimal number. So I have to find this x where the base will be 10. Okay, so take this binary number 1, 1, 1, 1. Just follow the same process. Since the base is 2, you are going to start from 2 power 0. Then 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. Okay, so multiply with the corresponding values. You then add the values. You'll get your final result. So 2 cube into 1, 8 into 1, it's 8. 2 square into 1, 4 into 1, 4. 2 power in 1 into 1, it's nothing but 2. 2 power 0 is 1, 1 into 1 is 1. So this is nothing but 15. I hope it's making sense. That is how 4 ones, which is in binary data format, got converted to 15 in decimal number system. Friends, if you are joining for the first time, go back and listen to our day 2 session where we have covered the conversions topic. Okay, so even though we did not delay anyhow, so go back and be clear on the conversions, how the conversions are done in the backend. We have understood clearly for each and every different number system. Okay, only then you'll properly map your understanding as part of the hands-on. Right. Now tell me, will line number 303 execute or not? Okay. First of all, I have to execute line number 301, right? So its output is 15 and the class is integer. I mean int. The data type that is used to store binary data is int. Tell me, will line number 303 execute or not? Good, good. I want everyone to respond. Okay, my friend says, yes, it will execute. Okay, 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 okay. I have a friend who says no. Okay, no, no. Good, good. Okay, I'll be very clear, friends. Here onwards, if you are going to respond to my questions, you better be very specific. Keep the line number. Along with that, keep your answer. Okay, line number 303. Will it execute or not? That is the question. My friend says yes, and some of my friends says no. But I say no. Why? The reason is this is a binary number. Fine. This is binary data. 011010. But are we using the prefix? What is a prefix? It's 0 small b. But what did we use? It is O. It is not 0. So when you try to use O instead of 0, what you'll get? You are getting an error. That is why, The prefix is mandatory. You are supposed to obey the syntax. What does the syntax say? The syntax says either use 0b, which is in lowercase, or 0b in uppercase, then followed by binary data. If I violate the syntax, it will throw me an error. An exception will be raised. Yes. Now, tell me about line number 305. Will line number 305 execute or not? Good, good. I told you already. I want the answers along with the line number. Line number 305 will execute or not? Good, good. Many of my friends says no. Why? Because you see here 0b. The prefix is, we are just obeying the syntax. But what about the binary data? In the binary data, what are the digits that we can have? We can have either 0 or only 1. But what you are trying to do, I am trying to use a new digit. It is 2, which is not accepted in binary number system. Let me execute it. Again, I'll get a error. I am getting an error. This time the error is different. Yes, 2 is not a binary digit. Only 0 and 1 are binary digits. That is why we have to be clear on this complete slide. The digits, the base. For each and every number system, you should memorize, friends. Okay, good, good. Now it is very clear. In the same way, let us go and store octal number data. Okay, if you have octal data, is it possible to store in Python? Yes. Just change the prefix. Instead of 0b, I'll keep it as 0o, which is in lowercase, or 0o in uppercase, followed by octal data, your octal value. How many digits we can have in octal number system? How many digits we can have in octal number system? There are 8 digits that are part of octal number system. What are they? 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. 7. Yes, good. There are total 8, friends, not 7, 8. 0 till 7. Good. So this is the syntax, and in the same way, like how binary data is internally converted to decimal, in the same way octal data is also converted to decimal number system only. Okay, so let us take an example. What are we doing here? I'm trying to store an octal value in Python. Okay, am I following the syntax? Yes. It is 0 followed by small o, then octal value 1, 5. Okay, so when I execute this, observe properly how the variable explorer is getting changed. The value for a is getting changed. Observe, friends. Done. It is done. Once if it is done, I need to print the value that is being part of A, and also I want to get the type of A. Let me do it. So it is the value have converted to a decimal number system, and it is 13. And what is the data type that is being used to store an octal value? It is int data type. Making sense? Simple. Need not struggle. Now you have to respond for line number 321. Will line number 321 will execute or not? 321. My friend says 321 will not execute. Why? what is the wrong thing that I am doing here? I took 0 followed by O. Okay. Then I have an octal data. Yes, I am not violating the syntax, right? I'm not violating the syntax. While not execute, it will execute. Okay. So this octal data gets converted to decimal value. Same, the backend conversion happens and it gets converted to a decimal value. And this decimal value will be stored for A, inside A. And the data type that is used is integer. So let me execute. Done. And let me also print it. It's 15. It is 15. 17 value that we have in octal number system got converted to 15 in decimal number system. And int is the data type that is used to store the octal value. Then respond for line number 324. What happens if I execute line number 324? Am I violating the syntax or is it correct? Good going, good going. Why it will not execute? See, it's better if you also come up with the explanation. That would be great. Why it will not be executed? Because of 8. Good. See, the prefix that we are obeying the syntax, but the octal value that we have is 682. In octal number system, we have the digits as 1, 2, so on, 7. How can you have 8? Not possible. So when you try to execute line number 324, it has to raise a syntax error. A syntax error will be raised. Now, probably all of us have got some enough confidence. We have understood how binary data can be stored in Python in using int data type and octal data storing in Python using int data type. In the same way, let us also focus on how hexadecimal data can be stored in Python. Okay, for this, we use prefix like 0x. Hexadecimal, right? So it is 0x followed by the data, hexadecimal data. X either in lowercase or uppercase. Right? In the same way, like how binary and octal data got internally converted to decimal data, in the same manner, hexadecimal will also get converted to decimal format only. Okay, here we have an example. I'll explain the first one. You are supposed to do the rest of the examples, friends. So it is 0x-a-c. So 0x, yes, I'm obeying the syntax. I have the prefix. Then followed by hexadecimal data, it is AC. Can I have A and C as values for hexadecimal data? Obviously, what are the digits? 0, 1, so on till 9, followed by A, B, so on till F. So I can have A and C. This is accepted. This is accepted. Good. Okay. Then let me go and execute line number 337. See how hexadecimal data is getting stored in Python and how it is getting stored apart from Python. It is also getting converted into the default number system, that is decimal number system. See, observe variable explorer. So if you take AC value, as a hexadecimal data, it gets converted to 172 as in decimal number system. Okay, I'll use print function to print the variable Okay, whatever the value that we have in the variable, and I also want to get the type of A. So this will give me the data type as well. So obviously it will be 172 and int. Making sense? Now it's your turn. Tell me, will it execute? You know, will line number 340 will execute or not? 340. What is the value that we are taking, friends? Good, good, good. See, some of our friends were also coming up with the output. That is extraordinary. Really great. It's not just telling yes or no. If you come up with the output, really you are putting your efforts to perform the conversions, right? So that is really great, friends. Keep it up. So line number 340 will execute. Yes, because I am obeying the syntax. Okay. And I'm not violating the data as well. The digits are also between whatever we have the digits. I'm using just only those digits. So this will execute. Let us see what value it is going to give. Okay. BEE, which is in the form of, you know, hexadecimal data, it is converted to decimal number system. The output is 3054. Good. When I try to print the value, it will be 3054 and the type will be int. In the same way, do it for line number 343. FACE is my hexadecimal value. Will it execute or not? First of all. Yes, it will execute. I'm not violating the syntax, and moreover, the digits are part of our hexadecimal system. Okay. So when I try to execute line number 343, it is 64,206. The value in decimal number system. See, I'm printing the value of C followed by the class. I mean the data type. In the same way, let us also convert hexadecimal value ACE to decimal number system. Do the conversion. Good, good. So friends, if you're joining for the first time, consider subscribing because we have planned, you know, good programs in the future. In order to get all the notifications, ensure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, right? Yes. 346 will execute. Yes. The reason is I'm not violating the syntax. Okay. So this has to execute, and let us also see what is the output. It is 2766. 2766 is the value and the data type is int. Friends, what happens if I execute line number 349? Will 349 execute first of all? Good, good. Exactly. Line number 349 will throw an error. The reason is we have R. We have R, which is not a digit of hexadecimal number system. So when you try to execute this, line number 349, it has to return a syntax error. Syntax error will be returned. Good, good. Now, probably all of us, we are clear on the concept of int data type. Okay. The purpose of int data type is to store values, numbers without decimal values, right? So we can store any number, but that number should not have any decimal value. Apart from numbers, if you have binary data, octal data, and hexadecimal data, again, int data type will be used to store all these different values in Python, right? Yes. Now let us discuss some base conversion functions that we have in Python. Okay, in Python, there are some base conversion functions, friends. Okay, so these base conversion functions help us to convert the bases. Okay, so there are exactly three different functions. One is bin, nothing but binary. Okay, then the second one is oct, third one is hex. So I have already given a tip in the previous session. What is it? If you find parenthesis, it is a function. So we have three functions, and these three functions helps us to perform base conversions. What is the purpose of these functions is they help us to convert the base values. That means from binary to decimal. Okay, from binary to octal, from binary to hexa. So it depends. Upon your requirement, you can use the function and convert the bases, right? Yes. So let us understand the first function, that is bin function. Okay. So this bin function helps us to convert any base. It might be a decimal, it might be a decimal number, an octal number, or a hexadecimal number, whatever it might be, friends. Okay. Any base will be converted to binary number. So that is the purpose of bin function. And here we have the syntax. Within bin function, if you pass any number, it might be decimal number, octal number, or hexadecimal number, it gets converted to binary number. Let us try. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm taking a decimal number and the value is 15. Okay, I'm storing it in A. For better understanding, I also want to go and print the value along with its type. See, print of A will return me 15 and the type of A will return me int. Now, the decimal value that we have, I'm going to pass inside bin function because A is holding the value of 15. Okay, when you pass the value of a decimal number inside bin function, this will convert a decimal number to binary number. Excuse me. Let me execute this. Let us also print it. See, let us also print it. Is it a binary number? Yes. I see the prefix 0b followed by only the binary digits. So it is obviously a binary number. And by default, the data type for binary number or octal and hexadecimal number, it will be str, friends. So what is this str? We'll understand. It's not now. Probably in the next session, we'll understand what is this str. Now let me take an octal number. Akhil, how do you fix that it's an octal number? Just, focus on the prefix. What is the prefix? 0O. So obviously we have discussed it, right? 0O is prefix for octal value, octal number. So I'm going to take a octal number and I'll store it in A, and this octal number I'll be converting into binary number using bin function. Will it execute? Yes, it will execute. Let us go and check. Done. Let me print the values to the console. So here we have the binary number. So that means this octal number 14 got converted to 1100. 1100. And what is the type? By default, it will be str. Okay. In the same way, let us do by taking a hexadecimal value. Okay. I'll take it. I'll assign it to a variable. I'll use bin function to convert hexadecimal value into binary number. Let us also print the results. Here we got the value of the binary number for AC. If the hexadecimal number is AC, the binary number is 10101100. Making sense? Yes, str will be the default type. What is str? We'll understand, friends. Then let us also take one more hexadecimal value. Okay, so let us store it in a variable A, and using bin function, I'll convert this hexadecimal into binary number, and I'll print the results. So if you take just F, the hexadecimal number F, the binary number is 1111. Right? Yes. Now, probably we are clear on the concept of bin function. In the same way, we have awk function. Okay, whatever might be the base, it might be a binary number, or it might be a hexadecimal number, or it might be a decimal number. Whatever might be the base, this awk function will convert any base to octal number, which is base 8. And the syntax is same. Just only you are supposed to change the function. Instead of bin, I'll keep here oct. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm storing value 15, okay, which is a decimal value, a decimal number. I'm storing in A. See here. Then this decimal number I'm going to convert into octal number. Okay, so where it will be stored in B. Let us also print the results. Here are the results. 0017 is the octal number for 15, a decimal number 15. And by default, the type will be str. For binary, octal and hexadecimal, the type will be str, friends. Right? In the same way, let me take a binary number. How can we identify whether it is a binary number or not? It is binary number because of the prefix and the digits. The prefix is 0, 0b, and the digits are only 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm storing the binary number in a variable A. Okay, and this number is being converted into octal number using oct function. Okay, let us also print the results. So if the binary number is 1111, the octal number is 17. 17. Right? Then let me take a hexadecimal number. F, only F. Let us convert this hexadecimal number into octal number using oct function. And let us also print the results. Simple, friends. Okay, if you are clear on the concept of conversions in the back end, whatever we have understood as part of conversions, these conversions will be done. right? And we also have one more hexadecimal number. It is BEE. I'm storing it in A, and this BEE hexadecimal number will be converted to octal number, and let us print the results. It is 5756. 5756. So this is how occ function helps us to convert any base to base 8. Next to occ function, we have hex function, which helps us to convert any base. It might be binary, octal, or decimal to hexadecimal. And the way syntax is again same, just change the function to hex. I'll take a decimal number. Okay, it is 10. I'm storing in A, and this 10 I'm going to convert into hexadecimal number using hex function. Simply pass the value of 10 where we have stored it in A. Okay, so this is going to give us the results, and the result will be stored in B. I'll print the value, so it is nothing but A, friends. It is A. Then let me also come up with one more example. Okay, so this time I take 8. Okay, so this 8 I'm storing in A, and I'm going to convert this 8 decimal number into hexadecimal number, and the results will be stored in B. So what is 8 in hexadecimal number? It is again 8, right? Yes. Then let me take a binary number. This binary number I'll be converting into a hexadecimal number using hex function. So let me do it from line number 418. Okay, now the conversion happens when we execute line number 419 and printing the results. Clear? Yes. Now I'm taking an octal number, and this octal number will be converted to a hexadecimal number. Okay, I'm following the syntax, no violating. So, and finally I'm printing the results of B and the type of B. So we have understood how base conversion functions like bin, occ, and hex helps us to convert bases from one base to the other, right? So these are the important functions in Python for conversion sprints. Okay, in order to perform conversions, we are supposed to use these base conversion functions only. Clear? Now let us go and understand the next data type in fundamental data types. It is float. Because from here onwards, the data types are small and crisp. Under fundamental data types, int is the biggest data type because it also helps us to store different numbers. It might be binary, octal, or hexadecimal. So let us understand what is this float data type. Float data type is again a predefined class, okay, and it is treated as a fundamental data type. So that means you can store only one single value. But what type of values? Any value with floating points. Okay, if a value has decimal points, I mean decimal values. So those kind of values can be stored using float data type. And this float data type, does not allow us to store any different numbers. No, it does not support. Then what if you have a number which is stored in scientific notation? Monty exponent. Even float data type helps us to store the data in scientific notation. Okay, so let us go through some examples. We'll also perform the hands-on immediately. Okay. So I'm going to take a decimal value number. I want to store 34.99. Okay. So this particular value has decimal values. 99 is the decimal values. If I want to store such kind of value, a decimal value in Python, float data type will be used. Let us go and see. Let us observe. I am storing 34.99 inside A. Done. Immediately I see the results. The moment you execute the result, I mean the line, you'll see the type. So for better understanding, I'm also using print function to print the results. So print of A will print me 34.99 and the type will be float because it is a decimal value, a floating point value, a floating point number. Then what happens? What data type will be used to store 0.009 friends? From here onwards, you are supposed to respond 433. In line number 433, which data type will be used? For 0.009, again float data type will be used. Yes. Okay, the reason is it's a floating point number. And when you print it, you'll have the results. It is float. Good. Then I'm trying to divide 22 by 7. So when I divide 22 by 7, I'll get an output. And what kind of value we'll get? It's nothing but 3.14. So whatever we are representing here is the value of pi symbol, right? So when I execute line number 436, I'll get a floating point value as output and float data type will be used to store the value. See, what is a class? I mean, what is a type? It is float. Okay, then let me try storing a binary number in decimal format. Okay, I know this is a binary number and this is a binary number, but let us keep in points and let us see. Will line number 439 execute, friends? Will line number 439, will it execute or not? 439 will not execute. The reason is, float data type does not help us to store, binary numbers, octal numbers, hexadecimal numbers. No. Okay. Then I'm trying to do the same. I'm trying to store a hexadecimal number. Okay. Let us go and check. Again, I should get a syntax error, which is not accepted. It is not accepted. Let me go and try to store an octal number in the format of decimals. So this is an octal number and this is an octal number. If I keep in decimals, I'm using points, right? So will it execute? No. Float data type will not be used to store such kind of numbers. But float data type help us to store the values in scientific format. So I can store the values in this format. 3e2, which is nothing but 3 into 10 raised to the power 2. Let me keep it here. So this can be interpreted as 3 into 10 raised to the power 2. So which is nothing but 300, right? But it will be treated as 300.0. Okay, so this is very important. If you are representing in the format of Montesa E exponent, again, float data type will be used to store such kind of values. Okay, float data type will be used to store such kind of values. Let me execute line number 445 and I'll also print the results. See, it is not 300, 300.0. This format is called Montesa E exponent. So here is something you are supposed to focus. It is 300.0. That is why float data type is used. If not, it should be int, right? So focus. Now tell me what will be the output for line number 448. What is this value? 43 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 2. What is output? It is nothing but 43 divided by 100, which is 0.43. So that means float data type should be used to store this value. Making sense? Let me go and execute line number 448. See the value and the type. Here also you'll find the same value, the value and the type. Good, good. Now, what happens if I execute line number 451? In 451, I have a big value and it is in decimal value. It's a decimal number where I have n number of zeros. So even though if you have such kind of values, float data type will be used to store these values in the form of Montesa exponent. Let me print it. Here you will get. So that means there are exactly there are 43 zeros and 4 is at the 44th position. So you see here the output is 4 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 44. And what is the data type? Float. It is float. How simple it is. So we have understood int data type and float data type. So with respect to these two topics, we are clear. Next to float, we have again one more fundamental data type, which is very simple data type. Okay, it is Bool data type. Bool data type is a predefined class and it is also treated as a fundamental data type. And the purpose of Bool data type is to store the logical values. So either we can store true or false. So in order to store the logical values, we use Bool data type. Okay, and internally, the value of true is considered as 1. So that means true is considered as 1 and false takes the value of 0. These are very important, friends, because sometimes when in order to build the logic, we'll use Bool data types. The values of Bool data type will be coming into the picture. So internally, true takes the value of 1 and false take the value of 0. Right? So let me quickly cover the hands-on with respect to Bool data type. Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm taking a value true. Okay. It's a Boolean value and I'm going to store in a variable A. See, if I execute, what happens to the variable explorer? Focus here. Okay, I'm executing line number 458. Done. A holds a Boolean data type value and it is true. Let me also print the output. When you print it, you'll get the value for A as true and the type is Bool. Good. Now tell me what happens if I execute line number 461. Obviously, Bool value false will be stored in B. Let us go and see. Yes. Let us print the value of B and type of B. It is false and the type of B is bool. Let us try adding A and B. What is the value that we have in A? It is true. What is the value that we have in B? It is false. So when I execute line number 464, what will be the output, friends? What will be the output for line number 464? A plus B, which is nothing but true plus false, which is internally converted into numbers. So 1 plus 0, which is 1, which is 1. So output for line number 464 should be 1. Hope it's making sense. Let us go and execute line number 464. Did we get 1? Yes. Now it's your turn. Tell me the output for line number 466. True plus false. Anyhow, we know it is 1. True asterisk mark. Asterisk mark is an multiplication operator. So what is an operator? We'll discuss. Okay. After understanding the concept of data types, we'll jump into the topic of operators, friends. So for time being, assume this is as a multiplication. So true multiplied with false. So that means 1 multiplied with 0. The output should be 0. Making sense? Good, good. Then tell me the output for line number 470. What will be the output for line number 470? Good. What are we adding? I'm adding a Boolean value with a binary value. And we know that this binary value will be converted to a decimal number. So when you try to convert this binary number to decimal number, what is the decimal number that you will get? No, no. Yes, for 470 it should be 15. Because false take the value as 0 and this is a binary number, and when you are trying to store it in Python, this get converted to a decimal number and this is 15. Okay, when I execute this, I have to get 0 plus 15, it will be 15. No friends, it will not be 0 b 1 1 1 1. No, it will be 15. Okay, pay attention. What will be the output for line number 472? What are we doing? I'm multiplying 2 with false. Okay. Then I'm adding the result to true. What is the value that we have for false? It is 0. 2 multiplied by 0 will be 0. 0 plus 1 will be 1. So the output for line number 472 should be 1. Clear? Good. And now comes the last data type in fundamental category data types. It is complex. Okay. Complex is again a small data type that we have in fundamental category data types. Okay. So complex is representing our complex numbers. So as part of our schooling days, probably in our maths, okay, in our maths subject, we have understood the concept of complex numbers. Okay, if you want to store complex numbers, okay, we use a data type in Python called complex. And the format for the complex value should be only in this format, friends. A plus bj or a minus bj. Only these formats are accepted. Apart from this format, it is not considered as a complex number in Python. Okay, where A is called the real part, B is called imaginary part. Okay, and j is representing our square root. This is what we have learned, right? Yes. So a is representing the real part, b is representing imaginary part, and j is representing the square root minus 1. Okay, so what if I want to extract only the real part? Can I extract the real part from the complex number? Yes. There is an attribute called real. Okay, so this real can be used to extract only a. In the same way, in order to extract only the imaginary part, we use imag. There is an attribute called imag, and this imag will be used to extract only the imaginary part. And internally, both real and imaginary parts are treated as float. Akhil, probably whatever you have explained is well, good enough. But let us go and do some kind of hands-on. Then we'll be clear on the concepts, right? Yes. We'll understand how we are going to take a complex number, the format, and how we are able to access the real parts of the complex number followed by the imaginary part of the complex number, friends. Okay, right. I'll go back. Okay, so here I have a complex number and it is in the format of a plus bj. Is this the format? Yes. So this is the format? Yes. So will line number 483 execute? Yes, it will execute. And what data type will be used? Complex data type will be used. See, complex data type is used to store a complex number. And I'm also printing the results of A, and along with the result of A, I also want type of A to be printed. So a complex number 2 plus 3j along with the type will be returned as output. In the same way, let me take one more example. It is 2.3 plus 4.6j. Is it accepted? Yes. Why should I take only integers? I can also take decimal values, right? It is also accepted. See. Let me print the results along with the type. Done. Okay. In the same way, I can also come up with a minus bj format. 2 minus 3j accepted. Let me print the results to the console, the complex value and the type. Let us take decimal values in the same format. Minus 2.5 minus 3.5j. Accepted? Yes, it is accepted. Making sense? Let us try a combination. We'll take an integer and a float value. For a and b values, real and imaginary values, let us take this. Is it accepted? It is accepted. See. Let me print the values. The console. Here is the complex value and the type. Now tell me, will line number 498 execute or not? What happens if I execute line number 498? "498 will not execute, friends. Why? Is it in the format of a plus bj? No. Instead of j, what am I using? I'm using I. So that means I'm against the format. So that means line number 498 should throw us an error. Especially syntax error is what it throws. What happens if I execute line number 500? What happens if I if I execute line number 500, will it execute? 500 will also not execute because what is the format? The format is a plus bj. But what you are trying to keep? It is a plus JB. So it is against the format, right? So when you execute line number 500, again, you should get a syntax error. Sorry, probably a name error because J3 is not defined, right? Yes. But if I change the positions to of J and 3, this will execute, friends, because it is in the right format, A plus BJ. And complex data type will be used to store this value. Making sense? And I can also print the values of A and along with the type. So that we also discussed that, in order to get the real part of the complex number, we use an attribute called real. Okay, so A dot real will return us only the real part of this complex number. So 2.0 will be returned. Why? Why did it return 2.0? It is 2 here, right? That is the important point. See, internally, what happens is the real and the imaginary parts are treated as float. So even though if you give a integer, internally it treats as a float. Okay, what happens if I execute line number 505? What are we trying to get over here? A dot imag will return us the imaginary part from the complex number. So it will be 3.0. It's not 3, friends, 3.0. Now tell me the output will line number 507 execute? Will it execute or not? Yes, it will execute. Good. What will be the output for line number 508? B dot real. So in this complex number, what is the real number? Real part? It is 2.3. So 2.3 has to be returned as output. Anyhow, 2.3 is a decimal number. So, it's considered as float as it is. So 2.3 will be returned. B dot imag. This will return 4.5. Good. What will be the output for line number 511? 2 plus 3.4j is my complex number. Okay. So if I keep it as complex number dot real, it should return as the real part. So the output should be, what should be the output? It's not 2. What will be the output for line number 511? Good. 2.0. 2.0 will be the output for line number 511. In the same way, what will be the output for line number 512? 3.4. I hope it's clearing, it is making sense. So with this, we have concluded the topic of fundamental category data types. Okay, so friends, fundamental category data types we have cleared. Where we have understood int, float, bool, and complex. So in the next session, we are going to cover the next category data types. It is sequence category data types. Okay. So before, you ask the technical questions, we are going to fix the task. So for today's session, the task will be, you are supposed to do the hands-on, whatever we have covered as part of the session with respect to all these different data types, come up with examples. Your own examples is what I'm expecting as part of the task. For int, float, bool, and complex, you build your own examples and save it in a .py file. So this will be the task for today's session. Right? Now it's time for our technical questions. Friends, do you have any technical questions? All your questions will be addressed. Don't hesitate to ask the questions. That's okay. Yes, your questions. Thank you. What about, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So friends, we are going to post feedback link in the chat. Before you leave, you know, okay, before you leave, ensure that if you feel that the session went well, hit on the like button. Okay? If you have any kind of technical questions, use comment section to post your questions. We'll respond, and also share these particular sessions across your connections. Okay, so these particular sessions are valid. They are going to be valid for each and every student, right? So the feedback link has been provided. See, these particular sessions are related to Python. And how can you ask some other questions, right? Ask relevant questions, friends. Do these commands get collapsed while programming? What commands do you say here? What are the commands that you are talking about, friend? Thank you. Yes, A and capital A are same in hexadecimal. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, friends. Before you leave, ensure that you fill the feedback link. Okay. Give your valuable feedback. Okay. We'll try to implement as part of the further sessions. Okay. And moreover, hit on the like button and do share across your connections. Is it making sense? Thank you so much, friends, for joining and making the session interactive. We'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care. Have a great